Good morning, traders. Welcome to StockCast. My name is Todd Derby, along with my co-host, James Mason. I want to wish you a happy day. Our goal today is to bring you some insights and ideas for your trading activities. James, how are you doing?
I'm doing well, Todd. Why did you want to wish him a happy day?
Happy days coming your way. Because I wanted to. I had a good weekend. Did you have a good weekend?
I really can't remember my weekend. I work all the time. That's it.
I was going to actually, I didn't talk about this in our pre-show, but he does work all the time. He's sending me a text, asking me questions about some stuff. And I'm like, dude, take the day off. And his response was, TTBB is a 24/7 job. And he is. So, I don't think people understand the behind the scenes stuff that James puts into what we do.
Yep. For instance, the tweet I sent out this morning about the SPY on the monthly chart, and I'll show it on the charts here live. I was actually wanting to send it out. It was about 1:20 a.m. this morning. But I was like, people really ain't going to be paying attention right now. So that's why I didn't. But yeah, it is 24/7 and it just never stops ever.
So we were in Asheville, North Carolina this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And I figured out the success to life, the financial success. So the key is your grandfather has to take and work like a dog for many years and build a fortune. And then he has to give that fortune to his son, who will be your father. And that guy has to double the money. And then they're going to give you all the money. And then you can be George Vanderbilt and live a life of luxury and travel and read and throw extensive, exclusive parties and have the good life.
I can honestly say that has not been my life at all. My grandfather was, he was a ladies' man. And then my father basically living in my life. So it's going to have to be on me.
So it's interesting that Witten saw the Vanderbilts and saw the Biltmore estate, and it's overwhelmingly impressive of the wealth.
It is. It really is.
I'm not trying to make light of it, but like the money they made back in the day, literally in the middle 1800s, he turned a $100 investment or $100 loan from his mom into $100 million, which is just would be worth over $1 billion in today's value.
See, when everybody, experiences, something like that, when they actually go tour, like an estate like that and learn about the family and learn about what all they've done, they always see the optimistic side of it of like, wow, I could possibly do that as well. But the way I like to think about it and tell everybody is think about how poor you are compared to them. Like, seriously.
Crazy.
It's insane. I mean, you have people who were making millions upon millions of dollars 200, 300, 400 years ago.
Which, let's be honest, we'd be happy to make 100 million today.
I'd be happy to make 5 million.
Right. It's just so crazy. So one thing it was interesting because I got my travels back. I listened to an audiobook. The second generation of money, the father, he worked 16 hours a day, 7 days a week. That was his thing. But everything to him in life was transactional, including how he picked his wife and the brothels that he visited. They all served a purpose. His wife wasn't for sex; it was to have children, like to produce the next of kin. But he had his favorites at the brothels. That was part of his life, and everything was just a transaction. Like, I'm showing up, I'm going to pay you a fee, you have a job, and I'm going to leave, and then I'm going to go to my next transaction. And how would our wives feel about that? Like, oh, thank you for dinner. I'm going to go run down to the brothel real quick and go relax for a short while.
Honestly, it's unrealistic for a wife to be against it. I'm just saying. We'll edit that part out later.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into it. Brian Latchford, thank you for the tip. I busted out laughing when you made this post because I literally looked up at my camera and I was like, man, it does look like I'm in a jail cell.
You got a library pass. You're allowed to use the computer for half an hour.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I'm actually in the county jail. That's I didn't have a camera all last week, but now I have a camera, All right. So let me go ahead and share my chart. So Todd, I didn't really see anything too interesting pre-market, and it could be because we just came off of a long weekend. Anything pre-market that you were really looking at?
There's a couple runners, RNXT and ADAP, but they've already made their pop. They might make a RNXT has no shorts available through Centerpoint, which sometimes sets up for a possible squeeze if the volume keeps coming in.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to watch that, but nothing is strong on my page right now.
Let's see. Oh man, I really can't even pull up any fundamentals on RNXT. All right, well, that would definitely be a no-go for me since I can't really pull up any information.
Huh.
Let's see. There is a LEXX. I'm just kind of looking at. I mean, I'm not feeling right now. This is just kind of something that I'm kind of just watching, but I have no intentions of making a decision on it yet. And let me just go to daily chart. So if you guys have been watching me trade for a while now, you understand that with some of these smaller cap stocks, I do like to wait for them to get beat down and then trend sideways, kind of like this. This is a little bit more choppy than I would prefer, but it is what it is. But anyways, when looking at it, comparing the non-EMA line and the 200 EMA line, let me just zoom out all the way so we can see kind of how it's just chopping around over time on the daily chart, and got this long downtrend right here. We now have that 9 EMA line trying to push back above that 200. So for me, again, I'm going to have to hold off here just to kind of see what this is going to do. And a couple of reasons why is just not long ago, I mean, this thing has just spiked up and hit this, $12 range. It went up to $12.50. It might have went up higher pre-market, but I'm just going off of the daily chart here on TradingView. And then it just got hammered. But if this thing would hold up here, and this would potentially be something that I would look at more so tomorrow or the days to follow. But if this could hold up here, let me jump back to 5-minute chart really quickly. Hold up here, I would consider it in the future as it breaks above 806 again. So that would be right in there. I would consider in the future if it held up on the daily chart above that 200 EMA line, and then made its break above that 806 later on, and my overall target price would be that $12 range. Probably, really, if I'm going to just be honest, between 10 and 12, just depending on that momentum. But the first thing we need to see here is if it's going to hold above that 200 EMA line on that daily chart, which I think it will, just based off the setup. But again, you just never know. You have all these people who just not long ago jumped in literally at $12. Like someone was buying it here at $12.50, and there's a good chance that someone's still holding shares that they paid $12.50 for. And here it is pre-market at $6.94. And if this thing does hold up, as soon as it starts trying to come back up into this range of this candle, these bag holders here are going to be trying to get the heck out of Dodge and selling off the break even. So we will see that resistance as we break above that 806 range, especially once we start getting up around $10. But that's just, I don't know. This is just something I'm going to look back on later. And again, this is not a trade I would take today personally. So this is ticker LEXX.
All right. Thank you, Jonathan, for the morning tip.
Appreciate it, Johnny. But yeah, again, like I didn't really see anything too great pre-market, probably due to long weekend and then short week ahead. I would kind of expect next week to be a solid week for really the stock market. Everybody's coming back into the market. All the rich people, the whales, are coming back in from their vacations in the Hamptons. I mean, that's just the way it is. It's a seasonal thing. And if you guys remember me telling y'all back in, I think April, May, that really the volume's going to die over summer and then kick back up around August, September. This is what I'm talking about. So we're pretty much just waiting for volume to come back in. And that's usually when actually the biostock season starts to jump back in as well. If you guys ever heard of penny stock season, that's exactly what it is. And when they're talking about penny stock season, it's predominantly biostocks. Yeah, really, because biostocks are always filled with catalyst. That's also one of the reasons why I prefer to trade biostocks. There's always a catalyst somewhere. So, yeah. But I would like to kind of cap on my tweet this morning about the SPY S&P 500. Let's look at it on the monthly charts. And let's throw some Bollinger Band lines up. All right. So when looking at the SPY, ticker SPY on the monthly chart, so each candlestick represents one full month. Let's just start right down here with our RSI. And we'll go on this last strong push. So this RSI value was 89.67. That PPS value, it closed out at 264.79. Well, you can see pre-market, we are currently at 452.68. And look at the RSI now. The RSI is a lot lower, but that PPS value is almost 200 points higher. This is a bearish divergence on the monthly chart. And when I zoom in right here, so this is the pandemic when it started. See that strong push down. And what tends to happen, and we're looking at this on a longer time frame for this reason I'm going to explain. What tends to happen is you'll see these signals. These are red flags that over time stuff is just fundamentally breaking down for whatever reason. And in the big picture, the big grand scheme of things, all this stuff adds up over time. So, whatever happened back here made it pull back really hard. But then literally President Trump would pump up the market with Jerome Powell, and, they do what they, did. And then the pandemic comes in, beats it down, and then this crazy V-shaped recovery that honestly nobody was expecting. You'll have a lot of people who will try to say that they expected it, but they're full of crap. No one was expecting this. Everybody was thinking it was the end of the world. And then here we are. So if you look at this 9 EMA and how far away it is gotten from that middle Bollinger Band line, this thing is about ready to start unloading itself. Now, historically, October is a very volatile month in the stock market, usually pretty bearish. I'm predicting, and this is just a personal opinion, I'm predicting that September, this month, is going to start to get pretty bearish, and October be very bearish. I'm expecting on the monthly chart that you're streaming, Todd. Yeah, Bobby, I'm going. I'm expecting this to sell off by the end of October to come down, hit this middle Bollinger Band line, and then probably sometime November, December, bounce off that middle Bollinger Band line, come back up, and everybody's going to think that this is going to be the recovery, and it's going to be a fake out. And I'm going to show you why when I go back to around 2007 to 2009. So come down here by the end of October, bounce off that middle Bollinger Band line, and that bounce will probably create historically what they call the Christmas Santa rally. And everybody's going to be all ecstatic. And then we're going to go into 22, and that's when the crap is really going to hit the fan, is in 22 and 23. And let me go back to when we had the Great Recession. All right, so that's 2000. Here we are. So when looking at this, we see this push up going into the end of 2007, and then we had the housing market crash. We all know what's going to happen in the future here with our housing market. It's going to crash. It's going to, I can't necessarily say it's going to do the same thing, but history does repeat itself. Let's just be honest. So I'm expecting us to have a few bearish months. So let's just say September, and then especially October, come down, bounce off that middle Bollinger Band line. And for instance, right here, this did go down to that lower Bollinger Band line, but you see this bounce, it bounces off this line and then comes back up. I'm expecting this bounce to actually happen like this off of that middle Bollinger Band line, come back up a little bit, and it's going to fake everybody out. Everybody's going to think everything is good. And then that next leg down is going to be the for real drop, which in my opinion will be the significant sell-off in the market. And then after the market sells off, it's going to probably do the same thing where whenever it finds its bottom, it's going to come back up, break it back above that 9 EMA, and then we'll have this nice little bullish run for X amount of time, and then hell, we'll probably go into the depression after that. Who knows? But I mean, I was actually, when I was explaining this, I started thinking, I was like, you know what? I'm now talking years in advance. This is going to be irrelevant. No one's going to remember this part. So, but anyways, you guys see what I'm saying with this pullback and how it bounced. I'm actually expecting a bounce like that to happen off that middle Bollinger Band line, and then that next leg down will be what tumbles over and really, really, really nails everybody in the market. So, yeah, that's what I'm expecting. We'll just see how it plays out. Hopefully that made sense to everybody who was listening.
What's important about that, we're just a couple minutes from the start of the market. What's important about that is that it's a thesis, but it's a thesis that is based on past history. And so you can use this guidance to help you gauge what you want to do with your trades. And it's really information on how what you're going to process for your own personal trading. And I know you've talked in the past that October is one of your worst trading months.
Yes.
That you've historically, it's just a tough month for you to trade in.
Yep. Last year was actually a good month, but it was last October was the first October ever for me that I came out profitable. I mean, that's literally, I'm batting 10-15% success rate for Octobers. I don't know. We might just have to shut down TTBB. Just kidding.
We're less than 90 seconds to the open of the market. Any final thoughts?
Well, the Dow futures are currently down negative 55 points. S&P is down 4.5 points. So I'm going to have to lean strongly toward the bearish side and going forward. We need to, this pullback on the monthly chart on the SPY down to the middle Bollinger Band line would be a healthy pullback. It's needed. It has to happen. I mean, we have supply chains breaking down with COVID-19 and this Delta variant, and now we have other variants coming along. It's starting to break everything down again. It's just, something's going to have to happen. we just can't keep going up forever. So yeah, that's just what I see for the moment, and we just have to see how it plays out. So other than that, that's all I have for today. Anything else, Todd?
No, I'm good. Safe trading. Be careful, and we'll see you guys tomorrow.
All right, everybody, trade safe, trade smart, and use them stop losses.